Hello and welcome. I'm so glad that you could join with me today. We're going to be doing a reading for the collective. Personal readings are available if you desire one. Feel free to reach out. If this resonates with you, I would love to hear from you in the comments. I appreciate all of your favorites and reposts so much. It helps me greatly. Let's get into it. The Fool. There's so much to be said about this stage, and I feel like there is a lot of trepidation when this card comes out initially, because there's this sense of embarrassment or not being enough or feeling out of your element. But there's so much good in this opportunity. Our last reading that we did, there was a lot of ending of cycles. The last couple of readings have been ending cycles for individuals. And what this is representing is that they have finally accepted and embraced that period and have decided that they are going to go forward with some excitement and a new sense of wonder and learning and opportunity. There's so much room here to grow. And that's what this is about. This is about being able to see what is in front of you with the eyes of a child, with the innocent wonder and curiosity of what's to come. It's not scary. It is new and it is different and it is taking you out of your comfort zone. But this is a good thing. This is what you've been wanting to do. You've been pushing yourself to this point, and when you finally started to embrace and accept the ending of that last cycle and started to recognize that it just wasn't there for you anymore, it opened your mind and your heart up to what's new. And so now Spirit's sharing with you that all of these opportunities that are coming to you, while some of them may be a little bit overwhelming, or maybe you feel a little uncertain about it, or maybe you're feeling some anxiety about it, but ultimately, this is what you were looking for. This is that fresh start. This is an opportunity for you to begin again, taking everything that you have experienced in this life up until this point, pulling away all the things that don't serve you anymore, and starting brand new. Now, without the word the Fool, what we're really talking about is more of like the birthing. It's the brand new. It's starting again. It's a new cycle. So welcome to this new cycle. You've made it. You're finally feeling and understanding what Spirit was trying to show you. That wasn't you anymore. It didn't fit you anymore. It didn't feel right anymore. And while you don't necessarily know what's next, you're starting to realize that that's good. That brings a lot of spark to life. That opens you up to new partnerships. So I'm really feeling some of you have gotten wind of, or you're going to be contacted very soon by some new potential partnerships, whether in career or business. But I'm also seeing that some of you have recognized that, like, even your friendship and your romantic patterns haven't been that healthy in a while, and now you're starting to see, like, I can do this better now, and I can have these standards now, and I'm not going to just lock myself into the same things that I've done in the past. I can't keep doing that. It's just wearing on me, and it wasn't working. And I've learned and I've grown, and now I want that to be reflected in my life, in my every single day. I want people to look at me like I'm not the same person I was. I want people to recognize that. Now that can cause some conflicts. I'm feeling really instant. As soon as I said that, I'm feeling like there's going to be some people that don't like that. There's going to be family members that are going to still see you as the 12-year-old you. There's going to be friends from the past that maybe even a little bit resentful about all this growth that you've experienced and how good you feel and how far you've been pushing yourself past the confines of who you thought you were. You no longer take what people say about you as gospel. It's not the truth. That's your opinion, and that's how you feel, and you're entitled to that. But that doesn't mean that's the truth. I'm not going to take that in. I'm not going to absorb that energy, because I know who I am. And you cannot control the narrative of every single individual out there, and you know that. But what you can do is you can protect your energy, you can protect your space, you can protect your boundaries, you can honor yourself in the new way by not even getting angry about it. Don't let it make you angry when this occurs. Approach it from a sense of understanding. It's like those people almost have to grieve who you were. Now, some of them, they don't want to do that. They don't want to let go of that person because that person was somehow advantageous in their life. There was something that they were gaining from it, whether it was, a sound off point for them, or whether you were a resource for them, or some kind of supportive structure to their destructive tendencies. And you've just decided that's not for you anymore. I'm getting, some of you have decided that either cutting back or sobriety is something that is really important to you, or at least the type of mind-altering ones. The ones that are medically necessary, of course, we're not talking about those, but so please take your medicines. But what I mean by that is like, if smoking cannabis isn't for you anymore, if it just feels like something you have to do, you can recognize that within yourself. You can allow that to be the new you. You don't have to continue that because your friends do. In fact, if they're really your friends, they'll recognize that that's just like the next part of the evolution. For some of you, you've recognized that your drinking habits have become extremely destructive in your life. And you just don't see where you can grow if you continue these patterns. For some of you, I'm seeing it's more along the lines of spending habits and just like day-to-day things that you allow. Maybe your toxic, your best friend that you joke about being toxic with, and you spend all these conversations being toxic. Ha 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 ha. It started to kind of wear on you, and you leave those conversations not feeling satisfied. That was spirit showing you your intuition, the way that we feel, our gut feelings. That is our higher self speaking through us by way of feelings and letting you know that this isn't what you want anymore. And it's okay. You can feel good about that because you are in tune with yourself. You're in tune with your higher self, and you're in tune with spirit by default. So we're really excited to embark upon this new journey together. This is the beginning of the next level of you. You don't have to be a brand new person, but it does feel like that in a lot of ways because you don't recognize yourself in those other versions of you. And that's a good thing. There's pieces of you that you have taken forward, but we're not supposed to remain in the same place. We're not supposed to continue the same habits. We're supposed to learn and grow from all of these experiences and moving forward, looking at what's in front of us that's new and different, and seeing what's out there for us and seeing what is there for us to embrace and to explore and to be excited about and to be to feel as though there's so much more and that we can keep continuing forward. So this is amazing for you, and I'm super happy and glad that we can welcome you to the beginning of your next cycle. Hello, little baby. Our little spirit babies, our little baby witches are here. And there's a remarkable refresh energy about it. So I'm so glad that you're here. The release card. So we find it difficult, and many of us do. We want to cherish and treasure and hold on to what has kept us going until this point. We've spent a great deal of time, being alive and all of these experiences. And so we get to a certain point where we've started to outgrow some of these things. We've started to feel as though they just don't suit us anymore. And what this card represents is that you have finally recognized the end of that cycle, that you've started to feel really confident about releasing the things that no longer suit you. You've started to recognize that the way that that people treat you maybe isn't how you deserve to be treated. And when you did that, you started to step back. And you started to just kind of allow things to take place. You stepped back, you allowed the space for those individuals to contemplate their relationship with you. You gave yourself space to contemplate your connection with these other people and situations. And when you created that space, your presence started to take up more space. You started to recognize how much more you have to offer, how much more there is for you. You have a bigger personality even that you had toned down for certain people. And I feel that for myself immensely. I feel like there were people that just did not get me. And I'd start to tell them about something and then I would stop because I'm like, oh, well, they're not going to understand it. They're not going to appreciate this. I have to go to this other friend. And we all have friends like this that, this friend is for this and this friend is for this. And that's a wonderful thing. But I shouldn't have to, with the people that say they love me and I'm close to them, I should not have to limit what I speak about or limit who I am as a person. And when it started to feel like I couldn't talk to people, I couldn't just be myself, because if I responded in the way that I wanted to respond, they weren't going to agree with me. They were going to take it in a different direction. Or I started to realize that every time that happened, it would turn into like a misunderstanding of some sort. I just started to give myself some space from those people and be like, okay, well, I'm just going to allow things to transpire as they transpire. Safe, harmless, right? And when I did that, I started to really feel a lot of weight being taken from me. It didn't feel difficult and lonely anymore. It felt like lighter. It felt freeing. It felt like I don't have to limit what I say to people. If they don't like what I say, don't listen. Don't ask me my opinion if you don't want to hear my opinion. I'm always going to be that friend. And I am a very loving and compassionate individual. I'm real. I'm honest. I'm upfront. I'm blunt. But it only feels harsh to people that aren't ready to hear your truth, that don't really appreciate and love you for who you are. And so when I put that space in between and I started to feel what I felt like when I was in the environments that appreciated me, the ones that welcomed me, I started to realize that shedding all of that old expectations and old versions of who I am and those relationships that weren't in alignment with who I really am felt like an opportunity to begin again. It was exciting. I felt like my life was starting over, but in such a wonderful way. Like, I have an opportunity now. I can do so much. I know that I'm skilled and talented. It doesn't matter what so-and-so said. I know that I'm good at this particular area of art or this particular thing. I don't need anyone to confirm that for me. And when I did that, and I put that space in, the more space I put in, the bigger I was able to grow. Trees go through a cycle. During the beginning stages of growth, they're just focused on growth, and they don't really produce a lot. There's a few leaves here, and they lose those leaves, and they grow and they produce leaves. And we get to a certain point where we are just full, this beautiful tree. And every single season, that tree sheds its leaves, takes a little bit of a reprieve, takes a little bit of a break, hibernates a little bit, and it comes back in the spring and it replenishes brand new. The only way that tree is able to do that is when it lets all the stuff that no longer is conducive to its growth. If it's too heavy to carry through the winter, it doesn't require any nutrients from me. In fact, I'm going to let it go because that could fertilize the soil here. Those experiences are just going to add to who I am. They're just all a part. And when the spring comes again and I renew and refresh myself, the relationships that belong in my life, the situations that belong here grow again. And if it is meant to be, it will do that. It does not happen if we're not willing to step away and put space between the things that are no longer suiting us. We have to do this in order to grow. We have to let go of all of the things that don't feel good. It is not easy. It does feel very lonely at times. But in those periods of quiet aloneness, that is when you're hibernating. That's when you're healing. That's when you're recuperating. That's when you're rejuvenating. So in the spring, you can come to life and grow all these. So this is just a transitional period for you. It's a very short transitional period, and you're going to discover that because you have been able to put space between all of this, to separate yourself from these toxic things and these patterns that no longer suit you, that when you start to grow again, when the season is right and you start to replenish all these connections, they're going to be absolutely beautiful and stunning, and it's going to be even more full and enriching for you. The process of releasing allows us to become more fulfilled. The Bardo. Now, all of that space and all of that letting go, a lot of that was due to some hardship, some difficulties, some wrongs, perhaps. And the wrongs that had transpired against you, in a lot of ways, don't really deserve to be ignored or let go of. And maybe those people don't deserve to be forgiven for what they've done. I'm getting for some of you, there was some shame involved. There was and they wanted you to feel at fault, like you were to blame for their treatment of you. It's almost becoming an echo in your head. You're getting the messages from your ancestors. You're feeling the energy. You're wanting to let go and release. And some of these instances and situations are haunting you. I have been having a reoccurring dream where I end up in the hospital. And as I'm being released from the hospital, all of the people that had neglected me in my times of need are waiting for me. Like they just showed up at the last moment. There they are. Here we go. We're so concerned about you. We missed you. And all I'm doing in this dream is just, I'm seething with rage. I'm furious that, number one, they only showed up when I was hurting, when I was that desperate, that I had no one else there with me. That's when they decide to show up. Not when I'm celebrating me and loving myself and feeling great. No, show up when I'm at my lowest. That's a good time to show up, right? But then it's like, okay, but then you weren't even here at all the times I did need you. When I said I needed you, when I asked for you to be here, you had other things to do. You were too busy. I was inconveniencing you. I was too much. I was this. So now it looks good for them to show up. It looks good for them to be there because you've started to pull away. You've started to live your own life. You're starting to glow and embrace yourself, and you're feeling amazing. Now they want to be a part of your life. My boundaries aren't going to allow me to let a lot of those people back in because as much as I want to believe that they've changed and I want to forgive them for these things, the forgiveness isn't for them. It's not forgiveness so that I can allow them back into this space and allow these things to occur again. They're not going to change. This is just, and this isn't like it happened one time. This is a lifetime of experience with individuals that I've seen how they operate. The forgiveness isn't for them. It's for me. It's me letting go. It's me not needing to hear from them. It's me recognizing that I have created a beautiful life without them because I had no choice. I just don't feel like going backwards. I'm willing to meet them in the future if they can meet me where I'm at. And I'm forgiving them so that I don't have to carry the burden of that, so that I don't have to push forward with that, so that I don't have to continually have that and wake up with these nightmares. I decided that it's not worth it to me to carry a grudge. They weren't capable of being there for me. For whatever reason, they're drawn and attracted to my energy when it's that low. I would imagine it's because that's what matches their energy, which isn't something that I feel like I should be gloating about. I almost feel a little bit sorry for them. And that's what led me to go, I need to forgive them, because they don't even know what they're doing to themselves. They don't know how much they've taken away from their own lives by not understanding how much more there is and how they can grow and learn from all of their experiences. If they want to continue those patterns, it's tragic. It's tragic that that's how they're spending their life. And that doesn't reflect upon me. And that's why I feel haunted by these experiences, because I know that wasn't a reflection of me. I know that how I felt about that was how I used to be. And the forgiveness is who I am today. We may feel extremely disconnected from that former life. It almost feels, and some of you I'm getting, holiday is like, you feel like you're floating through there, like you have to be there and you exist there, but it's all, like you're just like seeing things, hearing the conversations transpire. Why am I here? What am I doing here? Do I even fit in here anymore? You just feel like there's no connection to some of this past. So some of you, this realization was very new. Some of us have been dealing with this for a few years, where we're just finally coming to the recognition that letting go of this and understanding and forgiving is a process that allows you to grow. And it's your growth that caused the disconnection, because they weren't in that alignment anyway. That doesn't mean they're not good people. That doesn't mean they don't mean well. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. I'm sure they love you tremendously in the ways that they can. They care in what they're in at the level that they're capable of. And in some ways that is just not acceptable to you, because you want them to be able to love you where you are. And I can't expect people to love me where I am if they haven't done the same work that I've done. It doesn't mean that their love doesn't matter. But in some cases, it's not genuine in the ways that we need to be. We need to be genuine in our own lives. We need to feel authentic in our connections. And those connections don't feel like us anymore. It's not forgiving them for the way that they've hurt you, so that you can let them back in, or so that you can allow it to occur again. It's forgiving them because you've come to that place of growth, that you understand what it means to let go of that you know that carrying that baggage doesn't serve you. You understand that there is so much more, but only if you're willing to let go of what doesn't suit you anymore. So it's a difficult space for some, and some of us feel it very intensely during the holiday season. And Spirit's just here to remind you that there are so many people that love you for who you are right now, for all that you've come through, for all the work that you've done, for all the growth, for all the love that you share. It's not about gloating over who you are. It's not about bragging or showing off. It's never been about that. It's just always been about what you deserve in love, what you deserve, how you deserve to be treated. And if we are holding on to the resentment and the anger, it just doesn't feel right with who we are today. You're not forgiving people for the terrible things that they did to you because they deserve forgiveness. Some of them do, maybe. And in some cases, you probably feel a little bit of pity for them. That this is how they feel, or this is how they conduct themselves. But for you, it's an opportunity to truly embrace who you are today. And when we forgive them, we're also forgiving ourselves for holding those things to our heart so long and allowing it to affect us for so long, for allowing it to impede our growth, for allowing it to make us think that we weren't deserving of things that were being offered up in front of us, for thinking that we weren't capable of what we wanted. So we changed course, we changed direction because we didn't think that we could do it. And we're forgiving ourselves for that. We're forgiving ourselves because we didn't know any better then, and we do now. So we forgive these others because it's good for you. It's going to feel good for you. It's time for you to start new traditions that are connected with yourself. It's time for you to embrace the people that love you for who you are today and honor them at the place that they are, because they've come a long way too. The space that we're at now and the space that we're heading to, for some of you, we're still starting to recognize what's next for us. But for a lot of us, it's been a great relief, a great lightening of weight, and from our conscious, from our hearts, looking at what's transpired and saying, I forgive you, because I would not be who I am today if I did not have to have all of those experiences, if I did not feel all that way. Now I'm even stronger. Now I'm tougher. And that doesn't alleviate people from terrible things that they've done to you. Not at all. What they did still stands as absolutely disgusting, inappropriate, not okay. It doesn't forgive. It doesn't excuse them for what they've done. And it doesn't mean that you're going to allow them to do it again. Instead, I'm just going to accept and recognize that this is the life that I've had, and that these experiences did become a part of who I am today. The reason that I am so understanding, and the reason that I'm so patient, and the reason that I'm so loving and kind and compassionate and warm to people is because it was not offered to me. It wasn't offered in a genuine way. It wasn't authentic. And I thought that was normal. And it wasn't until I went through all these experiences with individuals who were constantly like, what's wrong with you? Losing relationships, losing friendships over my behavior, that I was reflecting is what helped me become a person that said, I want to be a better person. I don't want people to feel that way. I don't want anybody to feel the way that I used to feel ever again. I never want to put anyone in a situation where they doubt who they are, or they don't feel good about themselves as a human being. I want everybody to be in love with the person they are right now. And I also want you to be in love with the person that you can grow to be, whether I'm here in it or not. Because that's not what was offered to me. That's not what I grew up with. Those were not my experiences. And so because of those experiences, I have become a person that I look in the mirror and I am so proud of me. I am so proud of me that I have no choice but to forgive them. They didn't know what they were doing. I forgive them. But I know what I'm doing, and I'm aware now. And I'm going to forgive myself for all the things that I've done in the past. Because she did the best that she could in that situation with what she knew. And now she knows better, and she does better. And she helps other people do better. And that makes me feel really good about myself. And it should make you feel good too. I'm so glad that you joined with me today. And I hope these messages help you find clarity and validation in this path. Your path is uniquely your own. So if you're looking for personal guidance, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always willing to do a reading for anyone, regardless of an ability to donate. And donations can be in any amount if you are able to donate. Please don't hesitate.